Alright guys, so here's the next step. You have all your parts cut out, your base, your top, all your ribs. So we're going to lay this out, and this is super easy. You have your transom working from your back forward, transom, rib 1, rib 2, rib 3. Actually I think they call these spars. And then these are your main ribs that go the length of the boat. So the way to kind of assemble this is you start with rib 1 and you put it in, match up the two cutouts. They should slide right in. Okay, see how that works? So that's rib 1, rib 2. And rib 3. And of course your transom will be at the very end here. So the way you want to do this, the way this is going to assemble is we're going to assemble the bottom first. That way we can glue everything up really nice and tight. And once you get that set up, we'll pop on the top. Okay? So, first steps first. You want to make sure this is pretty much square. Oops, wrong one. And if your dad's got a speed square, I'd use that. It's a little easier to use. So you kind of make sure this is kind of somewhat square. It's not too critical, but it just makes everything a little bit easier to work with. And then once you get it all lined up and square, you can tack it with some glue on the inside there with the glue gun. And then we're going to want to line this up so that the ribs are flush with the outside edge. You see that? You got a close up of that, honey? You got that? A little closer. Okay, well, it should line up perfect, just like that on both sides. Okay? So you make sure that's all square, and you put the transom in so it's flush to the backboard here. Okay? And this is where there's going to be some assembly help here with your pappy. But when it's all assembled, all these edges should be flush. This is flush back here. And all these ribs should be glued in nice and good, because this is going to be the strongest part of your boat right here. And also, if you get punctures in it, if you say you get a puncture in this chamber, you don't want it flooding everywhere else. So you want to make sure that there's good beads of glue in every one of these edges here. And make sure your dad glues them in really good. Because as you ram into things, and you know you will, because I do, you're going to put holes in this. And that's fine. You'll be able to tape them up and fix them later, but you want to make sure you keep all that compartmentalized, especially in this compartment. You don't want any water getting in your electronics. You want to make sure all your joints are really glued well. And that includes, once you get the bottoms glued, you want to glue in here as well. Especially just on this compartment. You can do it on the other compartments too, but this is the main compartment that you want basically watertight. So glue everything nice and good in here. Okay? Actually, on second thought, there was something that I was going to add on the second one. This next rev. I noticed when I put my electronics in that it was really hard to get it to stick to this board. So what I would recommend you do is hopefully you got some packing tape, because this is what we're going to cover the whole thing with. Before you glue any of this down, you really want to mark where that, let's just do that right now. I'm going to mark where this compartment is, roughly. And then you want to use the tape to tape this area, okay? And I'd leave the tape out here about an inch, you know. You just want to make sure you get good coverage, and you squeeze that, get it
Tape it down?
Tape it down, yeah. Tape it down really, really good. And then, so what that does is once you get this all set and you get your electronics ready to put in, it makes a really nice surface to glue to or tape to or put your Velcro on. And also when it gets wet, because it will get wet eventually, it's really easy to clean up and it doesn't destroy this whole area in here. So make sure you do that, okay? And so the next step, we'll see all these ribs glued on this base part, and then we'll move on to the fins and the top. So that'll be the next video.